How's it going, guys? Cameron here with Canadian Gamer, coming at you with another video. Things are just booming around here. Channel growth galore. Beer of the day here, Bella Guel. Not quite sure how to pronounce that. I was over in the Gatineau region today, Quebec, and I was in what they call the Gatineau Hills. And I'm telling you guys, it was almost like being in the Hollywood Hills. So you're up in a mountainous region. There's trees everywhere. Canadian Shield on both sides of the road. And the roads in this valley were like up and down and turning all kinds of different ways. And just being able to go through with my car, after a while, it actually becomes kind of exhausting because you're constantly moving your car. And in my case, the standard with the Volkswagen Golf, putting it into fourth, putting it back into third, dropping it into second. And trying to keep your eyes on the road because as you're driving, there's all these escarpments and all these mansions up on the hills, gated communities, the whole bit. It's just absolutely insane. I don't know if there's like a running water issue being up on the mountain, because there was like an area where you could pull over. And there's a pipe that was coming out of the Canadian Shield, and it was running water constantly. And people were coming by with like canteens and empty plastic jugs, and they were getting water from this pipe. So I don't know if this is like a magical kind of water. I have no idea if it comes straight from the waterfall. Kind of curious to go back and check it out. But yeah, just absolutely beautiful over on the Quebec side. Unfortunately, I'm not bilingual, but you don't need to speak the language to understand what you're looking at. It's absolutely beautiful in that mountainous region. Probably more scenic and beautiful than a lot of areas in Ontario, to be honest with you. So if you ever get the chance, if you're in Canada, definitely go over to the Gatineau region. Check out Gatineau Park. Definitely worth the trip over. So yeah, a couple things to talk about. Our good old buddy Darius Truxton. He's he's always been jealous of yours truly. He's absolutely always envious of my success. So that's a red beer there. So now he's claiming that I purchased subs and views on my channel. Okay, buddy. First you're telling people that I'm too cheap to buy brand new games, and I'm buying used games at the thrift store, and now you're claiming that I've got all the money in the world to spend on buying subs. Which one is it? You know I'm too cheap to buy subs. Fuck that. I would never. Maybe somebody else out there bought them for me, or maybe they're pushing web traffic to my channel trying to get me shut down. I have no idea. I guess we'll wait and see. Checking out, like I said, the analytics through the YouTube, whatever you want to call it, my YouTube. It's showing that my videos are popping up on recommendations and basically up next. So when someone's got their autoplay on and there's a video coming up next and mine pops up, and let's say they're not near their TV and it's just rolling, it's rolling into my video. So I don't know what the hell's going on. No idea. It's saying that I'm up almost 100 subscribers over the last 2 days, but when I go into my YouTube dashboard, I can't see who's subscribed to me. I have no idea what the fuck is going on, to be honest with you. So, yeah, no, I didn't purchase subs. I'm too fucking cheap to do that. I'll get them for free. Thank you very much. Take a sip of the beer here. Beer of the gods. Tastes like nectar. So, the other thing I wanted to mention here. Finally, we got a teaser trailer showing some gameplay footage for the new RoboCop game that's scheduled to come out June of 2023. And this is from the same, I think it's Polish, dev team that did the Terminator game that recently came out for the PS4 and the Xbox One. Not recently, a couple of years ago. So I am so excited for this new RoboCop game. I can't remember what it's called. I want to say Rogue Squadron. Could be wrong on that. But it looks like more of the same. It looks just as good as that Terminator game that came out a couple of years ago. And the only thing that sucks is we have to wait till June to get our hands on this thing. So I am super stoked for this. So I'm excited for the new RoboCop game. I'm excited for the new Test Drive Solar Crown game, which was delayed until 2023. We've got Alan Wake 2 coming out, The Outer Worlds 2, and Starfield as well. There's so many good games coming out. It's absolutely insane. At least if you're on Team Xbox, that is. So, yeah, lots to look forward to on that. Other than that, there was something else I wanted to talk about, but it's just sort of eclipsed me here. Oh, yeah, I know what it was. I wanted to briefly talk about HDMI upscalers, and we've talked about it before in this channel before, but I want to tread carefully because there's some people that I do talk to that are big advocates of these HDMI upscalers, these pound cables, retro tinks, the rest, all the other stuff that is out there. But for me, this is just one man's opinion, but I'm more interested in having a real nice CRT, to be honest with you. A lot of these consoles, in my eyes, look much better on a CRT than any sort of HDMI upscaler could provide. And, you know, I saw a video on Digital Foundry a couple of months ago where they hooked up a fat model PS3, I think it was, to a CRT, and that looked pretty fucking awesome as well. You know, some of these games that run at like 1080p or 720p on a flat screen TV, sometimes you'd be surprised. There's ways you can sort of hook them up to a CRT, and it's at first you think that would look worse, right? But not necessarily. Even though it's running at like a lower resolution on a CRT, because it's running on a CRT, it brings out a different kind of sharpness that you wouldn't get with a higher resolution. I'm telling you guys, it's got to do with the CRT. So, you know, it would be amazing if a company out there would come out with a brand new CRT that you could purchase, that, you know, where you could hook up a lot of these modern consoles to a CRT. That would be so cool, and have the benefits of it being more reliable, less of a fire hazard, easier to carry up your staircase. But I just don't see the appeal of spending, you know, 30, 40, 50, in some cases $100 for these upscalers, sometimes even more. And you're trying to get this sharpness and clarity at a lot of these older games that weren't even meant to look upscaled in HD to begin with, right? They're supposed to be on a CRT. So, at least with my eyes, and maybe this is just the artistic side of my brain, when I see Metal Jesus Rocks and he's showing some of these older games, and I'm talking like older, not Xbox 360. I'm talking like, you know, the red, white, and yellow cables, old school. Sometimes when you upscale these games, it looks too sharp. It looks too sharp, and that kills the aesthetic of what these games are going for. So you take, for example, you know, obviously the N64. Some of those games are hard to look at nowadays, obviously, right? But I find those games on the N64, they look appropriate on a CRT. When you try to upscale those games, nah, it doesn't look good. It's like it clashes. It's like you're taking, I guess, what would you call it? Bitmaps, you know, the polygons, if you will, that are meant to look sort of washed out and low res, and you're trying to alter it to look upscaled. And in my eyes, it doesn't look right. It doesn't look right at all. You know, it looks cool when a sort of a more modern game like Red Dead Redemption on the Xbox 360 is sort of brought up to 4K standards on an Xbox One X. Sure, that's different, right? But when we're talking about some of these older consoles, like the SNES and the Sega Genesis, nah, I don't want to see that shit upscaled. Nah. I'm running, like I said, I'm running my Genesis on a smaller CRT, and it looks just fine. It looks sharp in my eyes, and I can see, the CRT, the lines on the TV, and there's no input lag, and that's the way it's meant to be played. The only frustrating thing about getting into the world of CRTs is, let's face it, they're not always the most reliable things. Usually if a CRT goes, you just as well junk it and get another one. I know I talked to Megadan29. He's another retro gamer in the community, and he was telling me one of his CRTs recently went. So it's going to happen. You have a CRT that's 20, 25, 30 years old. The bulbs inside are going to start to go. The electronics are going to start to go. So I am finding you can absolutely still find CRTs on the classifieds, but as time goes on, eventually it's going to be harder and harder to come by a nice CRT, to be honest with you. And also as well, a bit off topic, but I know some of you people have watched some of my speed runs, and you're wondering why on my CRT every 20 to 30 seconds it's almost like there's a black washed up line going down the CRT. It's because my CRT is not flat. It's one of the ones that's got a bit of a curve to it. So I'm pretty sure that's the reason why you're seeing this constant black line going up and down the CRT. There's nothing I can do about it, right? So John Lenneman of Digital Foundry, he's got a real nice CRT. It's like a Sony, I don't know if it's a Trinitron. It looks like maybe it was one that you would have seen at like a radio station back in the day, or a broadcast center. A real nice CRT, not one that you typically find at the thrift store. So kudos to him. I'm happy with what I have. I don't want to be lugging in even a 27-inch CRT, if you guys can remember those. They are so heavy, you need two people to lift them. They're heavy. And then to get it out of your house, you'd have to roll it down the staircase. So yeah, I love playing those old games on a CRT. I think that's the way to go. I've got my original Xbox and my PS2 hooked up to a flat screen JVC here, which you can't see right next to me. It's not a CRT, but it's I've showed it off before on the channel, but it's kind of like a hybrid TV. It's not really like your modern flat screen TVs, but it's not a CRT. It's kind of a nice in between, which is perfect for those consoles, right? But it would be cool to play a PS2 or an original Xbox on a CRT. That would look fucking amazing. But that's wishful thinking for now. The TV stand I have is glass in here, so if you were to put a CRT on there, it would probably shatter it, right? So yeah, it is what it is. So I just don't. I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't see the appeal of spending, between $50 to $150 for some of these upscalers when you could just as soon as go out and buy a CRT for $15-20 and bring it home and have the real deal, right? So that's just my opinion on it. Maybe you guys disagree. Feel free to leave it in the comments below. So yeah, so that's it for this video. I'm just going to take it easy tonight. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do yet. Maybe I'll play a little bit more of Ferrari Challenge. We'll see. We'll see how this video does, Darius. Maybe this one will go up to 10,000 views. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Love ya! Anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. You keep it wonderful and beautiful. And you take care.